Leaders from the Birthplace of Country Music Museum are expressing some concern about a recent executive order. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sarah Diamond.
And I'm Casey Marler. The organization says the order called for the elimination of the Institute of Museums and Library Services. In 1998, Congress officially designated Bristol as the birthplace of country music. Johnny Cash once said a string of musical recordings in Bristol that happened in 1927 was the most important event in the history of country music.
Well, while the Bristol Museum has displays filled with history, they're worried about their future after a recent executive order aimed at reducing the federal bureaucracy. News Channel 11's Maddie Cottaspati learned how the order could impact the birthplace of country music.
The Birthplace of Country Music Museum is a staple here in Bristol, but a recent executive order poses a threat to the museum's future. President Trump signed an executive order that aims at reducing government spending. The executive order calls for the reduction of agencies deemed unnecessary. One of those agencies is the Institution of Museum and Library Services, or IMLS.
It is the only organization, government organization in the country that does that type of thing, and it funds all of your public libraries. It funds museums.
The IMLS makes up less than 1% of the federal budget. Birthplace of Country Music Executive Director Melissa Roberts says the loss of funding could cause a grave impact.
Really, for very small investment on the part of the American people, you get all of these opportunities, places where people can access resources, whether it's books or classes, art or culture.
The museum has received a grant from the IMLS, but also receives money from local and state agencies. Robert says the impact is more direct than people realize.
We're really not removed from it. And so understanding how that process works, just because it's federal, that feeds into state, which feeds into local.
The museum is encouraging their patrons to make their voices and their concerns heard.
You can still reach out, email, phone call, letter. There are forms on your representatives' websites. You know, they need to hear from us as their constituents about things that impact us.
In Bristol, Maddie Cottaspati, News Channel 11.